I should get a ring. I should get like a fantasy football ring. You know what I'm saying?
How many leagues did you play in last year? You played in 3 leagues.
A couple.
You should win at least one championship.
Is that the Brinks truck back bringing in your money back there?
Yeah, that's my money, man. I might have to go pick it up after the show.
All right.
I got Jonathan Brooks, the running back for the Carolina Panthers. He is a rookie, so he's a rookie.
I'm happy you said who he plays for.
And just a good system with Hurts. Two very good receivers. Devontae.
Shout out to Jodeci. Who's Jodeci?
Yeah.
Jodeci was a R&B group in the 90s, back in my time. And that's why so many people in their 20s, they're named Devontae, because one of the main people in that group, his name was Devontae. So he was the producer and one of the singers. He really didn't sing. That was Casey and JoJo. But Devontae did the beats. Always had the shirt off, kind of like you. You partially kind of trying to show your chest a little bit now. But he did that. All the girls liked him. And so that's why a lot of people that are my age, they name their kid Devontae. So that's why there's so many Devontaes right now.
Cool, man. Awesome.
Yep, it's a lesson to you.
Shout out to them.
Yep.
This is former Chicago Bear Desmond Clark. And y'all hear me on many podcasts, but when y'all hear me on Pick'em Pros, y'all know it's all about family. This ain't just business.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. You know who it is. I am Derrick Thompson.
And I'm Diego Thompson.
And who are we?
We're the Pick'em Pros.
We are the Pick'em Pros, coming back at you in the house with a special episode of Who You Got, father-son dynamic duo. I believe this is episode 103, my man.
That's pretty nice stuff, man.
Yeah, yes, that is very tough. Episode 103, we are giving you our top 20 fantasy running backs. It's the middle of the summer. We are in sunny California, coming at you from San Diego to be specific. Shout out to Mom Dukes, man, your mom, my wife, man, bringing us on another trip. We're like well-kept men.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm
pretty
saying?
nice trip, man. Awesome. Shout out to her.
Shout out to your mom, man. She takes great care of us, and we are on another great excursion out here in sunny San Diego. Got a great trip planned. California love, Tupac in my mind, man. I've been riding around, going in the city of Compton, man. Next week, we're coming at you with quarterbacks. But this week, we are doing our running backs. But, man, hey, what are some of your tips and tricks in terms of drafting running backs? This is like your 5th year drafting. What do you do? When do you draft a running back? What do you look for? Kind of give us some knowledge on that now.
I don't like to draft the running backs early, because I know when I drafted Christian McCaffrey it was the year after 2019. He was with the Panthers where he went crazy, and then he got injured the next year.
Yep.
I had him drafted him like the 2nd overall pick, and he got injured, and that ruined my whole year. So since then, I haven't liked to draft the running backs in the 1st round. So I just think receivers are more reliable, and there's a lot of great ones to choose from.
Yeah. There's so much parity with the running backs. There's only 2, in I think our opinion, that are more surefire, but it's risky with a running back no matter what. I mean, even this year with McCaffrey, it's very risky because that's such a physical position that there's a high chance they're going to get hurt, and that number 1 pick is so valuable. So, if you take a back 1st round, even 2nd round, they better have a monster season for you to have any chance.
Have the year like McCaffrey had, where he had a great year and played every game.
Yeah, they have to, and that's he hasn't done that in a while, and we'll get into that later. But he hasn't done that in a while. So if you draft a running back early, he has to go off. He better have an MVP type season in order for you to have a chance. Yeah, I've got a few more in addition to that. So, one, it's key to get your backups. Try to draft draft the backup running back to your back, especially if you have a star running back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in the case of trying to think of like McCaffrey, of course, you want to get whoever his backup is. Saquon, you want to get whoever his backup is. The running back in Miami, you want to get have the backups.
Yeah.
Just have the Miami running backs.
Yeah.
So I definitely look at teams that are going to have just good running games, and I try to get both of the running backs. So then that way you're okay if they get hurt. So you can't rely on being able to pick up the back once the running back gets hurt, because it's probably going to be too late. Somebody else is going to pick them up. So it's and also if you have a great running back that's had a few good weeks, you're probably going to be high in the standings, and you're going to be too far off the waiver wire to be able to get them. So you have to draft your backups. That's very, very important. So that's a big tip. And then, like you drafting the running back, to be specific as far as the rounds, I wouldn't take a running back before the 3rd round at best, maybe even 4th round. So I like to go receiver, and then I just feel the flow from there and get the rest of my picks. So for somebody like me, I'm not going to get a Henry. I'm not going to get a McCaffrey. I'm not going to get any of them. I just chalk it up to where I'm just going to have to win without them.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my strategy, man. All right. So let's go into the rankings. Why don't you give us your top? We're doing top 20 overall. Diego's going to give you his 20 through 11. All right. Then I'm going to give you my 20 through 11. And then Diego's going to give you his top 10. And I'm going to give you my top 10. So let's go that way, man. Who you got?
All right. So number 20, I got Jonathan Brooks. There's the running back for the Carolina Panthers. He is a rookie. So he's a rookie.
I'm happy you said who he plays for.
He's a Panther. He's a Carolina Panther. That's my team. He is a rookie. He was the first running back taken in the draft last year. Played for Texas. Had some really good seasons there. I think he's going to bring a lot to the Panthers offense. That's why I have him at 20.
See, if you're watching us for the first time, Diego is the resident Carolina Panther homer. So there has to be a mention of Carolina Panthers no matter what.
ESPN has them at like 19 or something. Has them last time like 18, 19. I have them 20.
Okay. And remember what I said about drafting fantasy players on good teams. But go ahead.
Well, this is running is different.
Okay.
The Panthers have a good coach. They're going to be different, so that's different. All right.
Okay.
Number 19, I got Breece Hall on the Jets. What are you looking at? I got Breece Hall on the Jets. ESPN has him in the top 5. I think
they have him at number 2 to be exact.
Really? I thought really. Okay. Yeah, ESPN has Breece Hall at number 2. I have him at 19.
So, ESPN Diego. ESPN Diego.
He hasn't just shown like how good he is.
I feel you though.
He hasn't shown like any of like how good ESPN or people say he's supposed to be.
I agree.
He's a pretty good receiving back. And I don't know if I can trust Aaron Rodgers. I just don't know with the Jets. I'm just skeptical of taking anyone on the Jets.
Because that's what a lot of that's based on. A lot of that is based on Aaron Rodgers being there and the passing game opening up and all that. So, that's what a lot of that's based on.
Number 18, I got Travis Etienne Jr. From the Jags. He was like 11th in receiving yards, over 1,000 rushing yards. Over 1,000 rushing yards. Had a lot of touchdowns in there, too. But he is going to his 3rd year, so he's probably going to want to stack a season or two, a good season, so they can pay him.
Okay.
So I have him there because he's fighting for his money.
All right.
And number 17, I have Devon Achane from the Miami Dolphins. I believe in him this year. Last year he only played 11 games. And he had 800 rushing yards in those 11 games. It's probably more like 10.5 because the game.
Yeah, he had monster numbers with the games that he played.
Monster numbers.
Yes.
Just like I can't remember how many yards he averaged a carry. It was like a lot of touchdowns. But I think this year with Raheem Mostert being there too, I think the workload on him isn't going to be as big. And he came on at the middle of the year as being like a top running back. So yeah. Number 16, I got Tony Pollard. He's switching teams, going to the Titans. He had a good year last year. I think he's going to continue that. Pretty much all I got for him. I don't have a lot to say for him. All right, number 15.
This is a very hard list.
Yeah.
The running back list is super tough because I'm not thrilled with really anybody except 2. So I understand. Yeah, it's a tough list.
Yeah. Number 15, I have Najee Harris from the Steelers.
Okay.
He was I think he was 7th in rushing yards last year.
Mm-hmm. He had a good year last year.
The Steelers, they like to run the ball, so I think he's gonna have another good year rushing.
Okay.
Number 14, I got Isaiah Pacheco from the Chiefs. He had a good year last year, and I think he's gonna repeat that again with and the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, they like to pass a lot. I think the running game is going to open a lot for him. So
okay.
And number 13, I have Bijan Robinson on the Atlanta Falcons. I think ESPN, they have him like 4 or 5.
They have him at 3.
They have him at 3. I have him at 13. And last year he was a rookie, of course, so I was a little like working into the NFL style, but he had less than 1,000 rushing yards, and only 4 touchdowns. And the Falcons aren't really a good team.
And to your point, so last year again, we do this every year. This is our 3rd year ranking fantasy players, and last year ESPN had him rated really, really high as well.
I think he was might have been number 1.
He was rated very high, and we both thought that was crazy.
Yeah.
Did not draft him, and fantasy-wise, he did not put up huge numbers.
Yeah.
So we were right on that. So we still are skeptical on that.
Yeah, I'm skeptical of him. I haven't really seen. I got to see at least a little more from him before I put him in the way on the rankings ESPN has him.
Okay.
Number 12, I have Joe Mixon. He's switching teams, going to the Houston Texans. They have 3 really good receivers in Houston and a good tight end. So I think the running game is going to open up for him. And he's been a good pass-catching running back anyway. So I think with the pass game options, he's going to be able to get some more touchdowns and a lot of first downs receiving the ball too.
Okay.
Number 11, I got Josh Jacobs from the Packers, switching to the Packers. He was like number 1 in a lot of categories in 2022. 2023, I think he got injured, didn't have the same year. So now in Green Bay, I think maybe he's rejuvenated. Maybe he can put up the same numbers he did in 2022. And I've seen it before, so I'm a little more confident.
A little more confident.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. All right. So that's your 20 through 11. Pretty good list. I've got some differences here, but we'll see. So that's your 20 through 11. Now I'm gonna give you my 20 through 11, my man. I win a title basically every year. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm coming at you from the standpoint of championships. So that's very important to understand.
Well,
so
we're
traveling.
Leagues.
We're in San Diego right now, so I didn't bring my trophy with me. But you know what? I should get a ring. I should get like a fantasy football ring. You know what I'm saying?
How many leagues did you play in last year? You played in 3 leagues.
A couple.
You should win at least 1 championship. You playing that many.
And hey, we got our Pick'em Pro Fantasy League. Again, it's already locked down. Demand was crazy, so we're already full. But we've got big plans for the future to expand the Pick'em Pro Fantasy League. May even allow you to create your own league. So we have a lot coming in terms of that. We're just fantasy lovers here. We love fantasy.
Yep.
All right, so let's go into our 20 through 11 here. All right, number 20, I've got Kenneth Walker III from Seattle. All right. ESPN has him number 16. I've got him a little lower than that because he seems to stay hurt. Okay, he played 15 games last year, but he typically is banged up. So, and they kind of have a committee, Seattle, they'll have other backs rotating there. So can't have him higher than that. But when he's when they give him the ball, he produces. Yeah. So solid option. He had 905 yards last year, had 8 touchdowns. And again, played 15 games. So Kenneth Walker III out of Seattle is my number 20. Number 19, and I feel like this could even be a little low for him, is James Conner out of Arizona. ESPN had him rated number 22, but it's funny. I felt like a few years ago he was overrated, and I felt like he was going to get replaced at any moment. And I think he would have if he had a bad game. But he plays, he produces. He produces every single year. So last year he had over 1,000 yards for the Arizona Cardinals. Okay, he had 1,040 yards. He had 7 touchdowns. Played 13 games. Now, some of the 13 games I think also is because they were just getting beat so bad. We know they were clearly tanking. But this year they've got Marvin Harrison Jr. coming in. They have Kyler Murray's back and ready to go, full year. So I feel that there's going to be more opportunities for James Conner. So he has the opportunity to have an even better year. He's probably somebody you can get later, but I've got a number 19 rating on James Conner. He's somebody definitely, as you get later in the draft, if he's still there, scoop him up because that's a starting running back that'll get you points. All right. Number 18, I've got my man that I seem to get every single year, and I seem to get him late. So he just falls right onto my roster. I've got Mostert. All right. ESPN, I don't know who's doing these ESPN rankings, man. They need to hire us. They have him at 35.
He led the league in rushing touchdowns last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
My man had 18 touchdowns last year. He had 1,012 yards, played 15 games. Now, the book on him is that he's going to get hurt. He's going to miss games. So, again, my thing is you got to get both running backs for Miami. That's kind of the strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's going to be tough because both of them are rated pretty high.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Maybe not Mostert because
maybe not Mostert. Yeah. So you can probably get the other one, Devon Aching. Probably get him. And then but if you draft him, depending on who you've already picked, you want to get Mostert as soon as you can because then you're covered and then you're set because whoever's in there is going to produce. All right, man. Are they is that the Brinks truck back bringing in your money back there?
Yeah, that's my money, man. I might have to go pick it up after the show.
All right, man. All right. So that's who I have at 18. 17, I've got Nick Chubb. He's my guy. He was hurt last year. I only have him this low because he's coming off of a major injury. But Cleveland should have a good offense. They have Deshaun Watson. He's going to have to do something, right? We think they've got Amari Cooper. They've got a good defense. So I feel that they're going to have a solid season. Should open up opportunities. I'm not hearing about there being another starting back. We know they're not going to. Really, the main knock is that Chubb is coming off the injury, which is a big thing. I
don't think they're not going to replace Chubb after all the great seasons he's had.
Right. But my point is, even when Chubb was at his peak, they still didn't run him as much as they could have. That was the frustrating thing as a fantasy owner because Chubb would gain like 50 yards in the drive, and then they bring in the backup and let him score the touchdown. So that was kind of the frustrating thing with having Chubb. But Chubb. My thing is, if you get past especially if you get past the 4th, 5th round, because I don't know if people are going to draft Chubb as early this year. Yeah. But if Chubb is around, that's a good pick. You definitely want to take him. So I have Chubb at 17. Number 16, I've got Kyren Williams. How do you pronounce his name?
I think it's Kyren.
I've got Kyren Williams for the L.A. Rams. The ESPN has him rated at number 6. They have him rated pretty high. I'm not totally mad at that. I just don't know if I trust it. He played 12 games last year, had 1,144 yards, had 12 touchdowns. So that was huge.
He's 3rd in rushing yards.
Yeah, so 3rd in rushing yards, 12 TDs in just 12 games. So his averages.
As a rookie.
Yeah, as a rookie. So his averages are phenomenal, but my concern is that the Rams, there's so much unknown with them. With injury, the Rams could be great this year. They could totally fall apart. It's just a wild card. And again, with the running back, I tend to draft more for safety. If it's a little more of a known commodity, great. And by him just playing the 12 games scares me a little bit. So that's why I've got him a little low. If you're able to get him a little lower, I love having him. But I don't know if I'd take him top 5, top 10. I'd be scared of that. So that's why I have him at number 16. All right, number 15, I've got Travis Etienne Jr. from the Jags. ESPN has him at 9. He had over 1,000 yards, 11 TDs, played all 17 games. The Jags, a lot of pressure on them to really step up this year and do something. So I think he's going to have a good year. 14, I'm right on line with ESPN. I've got Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon going to Houston. I love when good players move to a new team. I love that. And so that's something to look out for fantasy. I think he's probably have a good year. They should be explosive passing the ball. He should have wide open lanes to run it. They've got a good D. So time of possession should be good. So I think he's a great pickup. Played all 17 games last year, so he's been healthy. I think that's good. Number 13, I have Aaron Jones. Again,
Jones.
Same thing. Good running back, going to a new team. ESPN has him at 21. The only knock is him being healthy. Again, that's a big knock. But I feel that him going to a new team, and I'm sure trying to get paid, typically that leads to a healthy season. All right. So I'm looking in the crystal ball, and I'm seeing a healthy season for Aaron Jones. So I would definitely pick him up. And when he plays, he puts up big numbers. So I've got him at 13. All right. Number 12, I have DeAndre Swift for the Bears. He's, again, going to a new team. He put up over 1,000 yards last year and 5 TDs, and the Eagles did not run him as much as they should have. They kept bringing in the backup. I think he would have had a monster season if they just would have given him the ball. I believe the Bears do. Having 2 really good running backs, 2 really good receivers is going to help. I think DeAndre Swift has a big year. I'm really high on DeAndre Swift as a running back coming in, and you can probably get him later. So you can get all your receivers and then hit them with them, and you will win your league. Okay? And then 11, before I kick it back to my man for top 10, 11, I've got James Cook from the Buffalo Bills. ESPN had him at number 13. He had 1,122 yards last year, and he just had 2 TDs. So that was low. But I think they're going to be more balanced this year. They're going to be just balanced overall, not having Diggs. I think it's going to be a better atmosphere around the team, and I think that bodes well for Cook getting more touches and not having the receivers pout about not getting the ball. So I think Cook has a good year. All right.
What are you trying to say, man?
Hey, man, it is what it is.
Shot at Diggs.
Well, it is, but hey, I'd love to have Diggs on my fantasy squad because he's going to have a huge year for Houston. So it's just the facts. Dope. Sorry. Yeah, so
all right.
Aircraft flying over.
Yep.
You know, we're right here where they do Top Gun and got Navy SEALs training and all that kind of stuff. So every now and then you might hear a fighter jet going over. You might hear ambulance. You might hear all kind of stuff. You're going to hear all type of activity around here. They're protecting the perimeter as we film here. We are on the balcony, so they're protecting our safety right now. All right. Okay, man. Top 10. Here you go.
All right, my top 10. Number 10, I got Raheem Mostert from the Dolphins. You already stated, why he was a good, pickup, but, he was healthy last year. And I think with another good running back being there, that's going to help his health. Mm-hmm. And he did lead the NFL in rushing TDs.
Yeah,
so
I like that.
I think he can definitely put up numbers like that again in the Dolphins offense. So,
okay.
Yeah. Number 9, I have David Montgomery from Detroit Lions.
Detroit.
Yeah, he put up some good numbers last year. Ninth in rushing yards, over 1,000 yards. Had a lot of touchdowns. I don't have him this low because I don't know if Jahmyr Gibbs is gonna really come into his own and be better than David Montgomery next year. So
okay.
Yeah. And number 8, I have James Cook. You already had him. You had him 11.
Mm-hmm.
I have him at 8. I think
the
offense can be more balanced, like you said.
Yeah.
They saw that he had a good year, and so they feel like they're more comfortable to give him the ball more, and with not as many receivers, he's gonna get more rushes, so he can put up better numbers than he did last year.
Okay.
So I get him at number 8. Number 7, I have Kyron Williams from the Rams. I'm high on him because the numbers he put up as a rookie, third in rushing yards in the NFL, 12 touchdowns, average 5 yards a carry. That's pretty big stuff. And I think in the offense with Sean McVay, QB with Stafford, Kupp, and Puka Nacua on the outside, I think he has the ability to put up numbers like that again. A great situation around him.
Okay.
Number 6, I got Jonathan Taylor from the Colts. He's had a few years where
6. Oh my God,
6.
Disrespectful.
All right. But Jonathan Taylor hasn't been healthy, but he has put up great numbers in the past, and I have the faith that he will put up good numbers again.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he's gonna put up big numbers.
Yeah. Also, I don't know his contract situation. He may be wanting more money, right?
Well, he got a contract.
He did. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think he wants to play because he hasn't played in a while. So.
Yeah, he wants to
And number
Prove his worth.
5, I have Jahmyr Gibbs from Detroit Lions as well. He also put up some good numbers last year. Also played well in the playoffs too, which showed me a lot. Played well in the playoffs, had a lot of rushing yards, playoffs, regular season. Was a big touchdown threat. Could catch touchdowns, could get receiving yards. So I also think he's a little more versatile on the field than David Montgomery, which is why I have him a little higher.
Okay.
So yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs on there.
All right.
Number 4, I have your guy Nick Chubb. He has put up great numbers in the past. Hasn't really been injured except last year.
True.
Did get injured last year, but I think he's going to bounce back. He's on a very good Cleveland Browns team, and I think he's going to bounce back.
Okay. Now that a lot of people may say that's high.
They may say that's high, but he was there last year, right?
Yeah, but is he gonna get the amount of touches to start the season? Is he starting in training camp? How is he doing with his recovery?
I think he's gonna be okay. Number 3, I have Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
From the Eagles. Some may say this is high. Some may say Saquon has had an injury history. Well, like you say, he's a running back going to a new team. Yeah. And the Eagles are a very good team. Well, for running backs. Yeah, for Every time a new running back goes to Philly, they put up big-time numbers, and then they leave.
It's a guaranteed 1,000 for sure. It's a guaranteed
1,000. He was putting up numbers with the Giants in the year he was healthy. And this year, of course, we know he's a big rushing threat. Some of the concerns about him are that he's injury-prone. The Eagles have one of the best O-lines in the NFL still, even though Jason Kelce retired. Still have a great O-line and just a good system with Hurts, two very good receivers, Devontae and AJ. Yep. And I think he's gonna have a very good year this year, helping them win games.
Shout out to Jodeci.
Who's
Jodeci?
Yeah,
Jodeci was a R&B group in the 90s, back in my time, and that's why so many people in their 20s, they're named Devontae. Because one of the main people in that group, his name was Devontae. So he was the producer and one of the singers. He really didn't sing. That was Casey and JoJo. But Devontae did the beats, always had the shirt off, kind of like you partially kind of trying to show your chest a little bit now. But he did that. All the girls liked him. And so that's why a lot of people that are my age, they name their kid Devontae. So that's why there's so many Devontaes right now.
Cool, man. Awesome.
Yep, it's a lesson to you.
Shout out to them.
Yep.
And Number 2, I got Derrick Henry. He's a running back going to a new team. And the Ravens, they're a good team. We know they like to run the ball. So they got arguably the best running back in the NFL. So he's going to fit in great. He is getting a little older. So that's the reason why I don't have a number 1. But he is healthy pretty much every year. Yep. Plays the majority of the games. Yep. And I think he's going to be a great fit with the Ravens. And you can always count on him to put up at least top 3 fantasy numbers for running back. So having number 2 seems to be pretty safe.
Yes, absolutely.
Number 1, I have Christian McCaffrey, a former Panther.
He's our guy.
He's on the Niners right now, of course. He put up number 1 in pretty much everything last year. Was great. And I know it's risky to have him number 1 2 years in a row. His last year, the top guy, he got hurt.
I know.
But he's my guy, so I'm gonna say he's gonna have a great year.
Okay.
So I hope he does.
Yeah, and I hope he does too. So we'll see where I went with that. But I definitely understand. I mean, with what he put up last year, you can argue he should have been MVP. He had MVP caliber numbers.
Yeah, I think he should have been.
I thought he should have been MVP his last great year for the Panthers. I would have picked him for MVP there. So, no, we love McCaffrey. Yeah. All right, cool. So I'm going to go into my top 10. Let me get my card here. Top 10. Number 10, I've got Isaiah Pacheco, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Last year when I had him like 16, you said that was crazy high.
Yeah,
so I was just ahead of the curve.
Yeah, you were okay. You were okay. So I'm still scared of Pacheco. Just from how small he is and how hard he runs.
All the running backs are like 5'10", 5'11".
True, but I feel that if he's ever going to have that huge year, it's this year, because it's his 3rd year in the league. He knows, what he's doing. The Chiefs are coming in, going for the 3-peat. He's going to get the ball. You know, he hasn't gotten his money. He wants to, you know, get money. So I think that all the stars are aligning for him to have a good year. ESPN has him at number 8. He had 935 yards last year, 7 TDs, played 14 games. But I've got Pacheco at number 10. Number 9, love this scenario here. I've got Josh Jacobs, again, going to a new team, going to the Green Bay Packers. They've got a good line, got a good pass game, defense, everything. So it's all lined up for Josh Jacobs to have a good season. ESPN has him at number 15. He had 805 yards last year, 6 TDs, played 13 games, but we know how terrible the Raiders were last year. Were not many holes. So I expect him to have a field day with the holes that are opened up. So I really, really like Josh Jacobs. Number 8, I went ahead and put Breece Hall in there for the Jets. Again, ESPN has him at number 2. I put him at 8. I put him at 8. You know, hey, if Rodgers hopefully will not have a major injury 2 years in a row, will play most of the season. The offense will open up and he'll get his opportunities. So I'm banking on that. I still didn't put him top 5, but I'm putting him at around 8. That's where I've got him there. All right. Jahmyr Gibbs, I've got him at 7. For Detroit Lions, Detroit running back, Detroit, 945 yards last year, 10 touchdowns, just 15 games. But I feel that teams really know that Detroit's trying to fling that ball. And with that, there's going to be more running opportunities. So I feel that he has a big year. I think Detroit just has a big year in general. So he should get his opportunities. And I love the high TD number. So when they get there in the red zone, they're really going to try to pound the ball. So I love that. All right. I've got A-Chain, Devon A-Chain at number 6. I've got him number 6. ESPN has him at 17. I've got him high. I feel that he moves into that starter position. Miami is just a great offense, and I feel he's a great one to have. And also, if you can get him off the board early, that also increases your chances of getting Mostert if you want to go that way. Again, we know what he did in limited time, so I'm banking on that being a fluke injury. It seemed kind of fluky when he came in there, so I think he'll have a full season this year. All right, now to my top 5. Number 5, I got Bijan Robinson for the Falcons. ESPN has him at 3. I've got him at 5. So, again, even for the way that we've been, that could be a little high, but I've got him at 5. I think the Falcons are going to have a good year this year. That division is weak. They're going to have a lot of winnable games. Think the quarterback, I think Cousins has a good year. If not, they've got a good backup. I think Cousins is going to play in there for most of the season, and I think he's going to have more running opportunities, more holes. They're not going to be playing from behind. He'll have many more opportunities, and he'll be closer to what everybody thinks he's going to be this year. All right. Number 4, I've got Saquon Barkley with the Eagles. I really love him there. ESPN has him at 5. He had a decent year last year, but in Philly, he should have a good year. It's just all about health with Saquon. Number 3, I've got Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor, again, all about health. And I feel that he'll be healthy. Like he had his nicks last year. He comes back this year, puts in a full season, shows that he should have got that contract, and I think he puts up big numbers. Might even be in an MVP consideration. That's how big of a year I think he could possibly put up. All right. Number 2, C-Mac. Number 2, I struggled with it, but the injury history, I don't want to predict somebody's going to get hurt. You know what I mean? But he goes up and down with the injuries. He had 3 phenomenal years, his first 3 years in the league, super healthy, played pretty much every game. Then he had 2 years where he played, 3 games and 7 games. Okay, so those, was hurt. Then he came back, played pretty much a full year these last 2 seasons. But he's been having heavy loads and whatnot. So I'm just and typically whoever the consensus number 1 is, they either don't live up to it, they get hurt, something happens. You know what I mean? So he's had a long playoff run, played in the Super Bowl. He's been playing a lot of football. So just for the durability, I'm a little leery on McCaffrey as far as giving him number 1. So I'm going number 2. And then number 1, I've got Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has had one season where he didn't play 15 games. That was that 1 year. I think it was 2021 where he played 8. Outside of that, he's played at least 15 games.
Yeah.
Every year of his career has been a beast. And now going to the Ravens O-line, going to that team, I think it's just a perfect fit. It's almost as much of a sure thing as you can get.
Yeah.
And when you're taking a running back, especially if you're taking a running back in the first round, it has to be a sure thing. So that's why I've got Derrick Henry at number 1. So that's the top 20 fantasy running backs, man.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
So those are running backs, man. Can't wait for football as everybody. I'm really looking forward to the fantasy league. So again, our fantasy football league is going to kick off this year. We're drafting late August, and then we'll keep you updated on all things that are going on with our league. But just shout out to everybody that watches us, supports us, that's going to play in our league. We really, really appreciate everybody. But, man, we're going to get back to enjoying sunny Cali, catching the Dodgers tomorrow. So, actually, when this show drops, we'll be at the Dodgers game, man.
Yeah, man.
That'll be cool. Be cool.
Awesome.
So, although you going to wear your Padres gear to the Dodgers game?
No, that's the rival, so I won't do that. No.
You're not going to do that.
Nah.
So, we were going to catch the Padres, but they're on the road this week and next week. So, the Dodgers play the Red Sox, so that's not a bad matchup. So, we'll make the drive up to L.A., and catch that. Probably have to try to drive by Staples or something, get you to see that, and check out Dodgers. So that'll be cool. But, hey, shout out to your mom. Thank you, wifey, for bringing us out here. We're loving it. We're having a great time. We're going to get out here and enjoy some more of sunny California. But, hey, enjoy sports, enjoy family, enjoy each other. Until then, we'll catch you next week with our top 20 fantasy QBs. We'll see you then. Pick 'em pros.